Hello everybody and welcome back to Summoner's Rift. This is ThorW bringing you yet another episode of LoLcast, where we are going to cast some Challenger tier solo queue games. So, without further ado, let's go over the team compositions right now, starting with the red team. For the top lane, we have Kennen coming out over here. For the jungle, we've got a Nunu being picked up. Mid lane, we've got Ahri. Wow, taking a couple tower hits there. I guess she's going to recall, no problem. And for the bottom lane duo, we've got Graves teaming up with a support Brand, so a little bit of an off-meta pick coming up right there. And we'll see how it works out for them. Going over to the blue team for the top lane, we've got a Maokai coming out, very popular pick nowadays. The jungle of Rek'Sai coming up, another incredibly common pick, both solo queue and competitive alike. Mid lane of Ezreal, and the bottom lane duo of Tristana and Janna. So, no real out-of-the-ordinary picks on the blue team. A little bit different on the red team with the Brand coming up as their support. So, right away, I noticed that the two teams are going for very different play styles, just team composition-wise. The red team have a very strong teamfight-oriented setup for the mid-game. They have a lot of AoE damage that they can pressure down onto their opponents in the middle game, and they should really strive to take the early lead, take it into the mid game, and take some heavy objective control, considering the amount of AoE damage they got coming out from so many players. Whereas the blue team, they've got the double AD setup with the Maokai and the Janna for some really good scaling late game, and they want to try and hit that late game. They got to get through this rough early to mid game where, honestly, their laning phase and their mid game power should definitely be weaker than the red teams, and they should have a little bit of difficulty. But we'll see how well they're able to do. So we're focusing a little bit onto this bottom blue side. We got the early push coming out from the Tristana and Janna. Tristana's explosive shot passive definitely helping with that. Meanwhile, we had Maokai doing early camp, using those sapling tosses to easily do that for himself, getting a quick level 2, and Kennen not able to really punish him for it. He doesn't freeze the wave or push it into the tower fast enough, because Kennen doesn't have much pushing ability. Nunu with an early jump into the enemy jungle. Did he steal his red? Oh, poor Rek'Sai. Nunu came up, got the ward down, and stole the red right out from under Rek'Sai. That's unfortunate for her. Well played by Nunu. Apparently he's definitely used to this, because I wasn't expecting it myself. I saw him going down towards the area. I didn't really think much of it. But here we go. There we go. Looks like Ahri took a little bit of poke damage. Ezreal apparently landing a few mystic shots onto his opponent. No big deal considering Ahri's passive, that Essence Theft. Able to heal her up for a fairly good amount. Able to keep herself in that lane. Meanwhile, down here at bottom, Graves is one of the better carries to deal with the Tristana's passive pushing capabilities. The buckshot just clears waves so powerfully, and you can get harassed down onto your opponents relatively easily while you do so. So, yeah, very good for him. A lot of damage coming on to Tristana. She is able to rocket jump away for the time being. The exhaust wasted onto this Graves. Tristana was out. So, a little bit of a loss for this blue team, losing that exhaust. Rek'Sai does not seem to be interested in going in onto this Kennen. I thought maybe something was going to go there. Rek'Sai sat there for quite a little while. So far, just some early farming. A lot of damage onto Tristana. Yet again, she is out of mana, forced to rocket jump away, and this is going to be an early recall for her. Already a 4 CS down from the Graves, and Graves is going to have complete command over this lane. Well played by this bottom lane duo, and we got an early dragon attempt coming out from this Nunu. That is one of the strengths of Nunu, especially when you're able to get an early buff steal from your opposing jungler, and a little bit of extra experience for yourself. He can do these early dragons. The strength of that Consume, and it looks like, yes, he does have 2 levels in Consume, so it's going to heal him a little more, do a little bit more damage to his opponent, and I don't think that the blue team has any clue this is going on. This is going to be a pretty good early dragon for the red team. Already a little bit of a lead coming out for them, and a couple of facets. Nunu 10 CS above this Rek'Sai after stealing that buff. Very good for him. Well played by him. He is commander of the jungle for these first few minutes and putting a lot of early game pressure down there. Taking a look at mid lane, Ezreal's a little bit ahead in CS. Ahri had to recall a little bit early, took a little bit too much trade damage. Look at this, Ezreal with an aggressive Essence shift forward. Arcane shift forward, my bad, but Rek'Sai is there to back him up, and that's a first blood for Ezreal. Ahri stood and tried to fight, but unfortunately she did not know. She had no wards, no way of knowing that this Rek'Sai was going to come up, unburrow under her, and do the extra damage needed for that early first blood. Ahri's going to fall even further behind her lane opponent. She was already down by a fair amount of CS, and this is looking a little bit like a locked-in mid-lane win for the blue team, because Ezreal's very hard to pressure, very hard to get kills on. He's just so safe. Twisted Advance comes onto the Kennen. Kennen does have his ultimate ready. He could pop that Slicing Maelstrom. Uses the Lightning Rush. Slicing Maelstrom comes out the second that Rek'Sai comes in. The Vengeful Maelstrom, too slow for the Maokai, and he is going to drop, but he puts down a lot of countering damage onto this Kennen, and he is finished off by the Rek'Sai. Wow, that is actually some incredibly impressive damage that Maokai got off before he died. We got the explosive shot onto Brand, and a lot of damage comes down onto Tristana. Brand was able to get the conflagration into the Seer shot, and Nunu coming for the dive gets a snowball off. A lot of damage coming down onto this blue side, but the Maokai teleports in. Kennen teleporting in as well. Maokai gets the Arcane Smash down. It looks like Janna will live for the time being, and Graves dives way too hard. He gets taken down. Janna gets killed by the Nunu and finished off. And another Twisted Advance comes down on the Kennen. Brand gets finished off. The rocket jumps are coming in real for this Tristana. And a flash from the Kennen keeps him alive. Ahri, this may not be a done fight. Never mind, she does not look like she wants any more of this. And Red Team, from their early lead, just kind of threw that away with some really bad early dives. Very poorly coordinated. Janna just barely living from that Graves, and then Tristana gets the counter kill. Graves dove hard for a support. He dove way too far past that tower to try and kill a support, taking tower hits, taking a lot of damage. A fully charged explosive shot from the Tristana just to try and kill the Janna, and that was not a very good idea on his part. Way too over-aggressive. Rek'Sai getting a deep ward down and getting a little bit of counter-jungling. Meanwhile, Ahri's able to trade with the Ezreal and kill him off. And Rek'Sai's going to get out with his life there. Wow, I'm really surprised that... If you notice, Ezreal died around right over here. He was way too close to that tower. I'm going to assume Ahri hit a nice charm onto him. Got a tower hit off or two. Twisted Advance and Arcane Smash comes down from the Maokai. He's going to pop that Vengeful Maelstrom, do a little bit of extra damage to the Kennen. It will be on cooldown, but not for too long. Just about a 30-second cooldown. Arcane Smash gets the slow on the Kennen, and Kennen does not hit much of that Slicing Maelstrom down onto his opponent because of it. Sapling Toss comes out. It's chasing down. Will it catch Kennen? Arcane Smash and the Sapling Toss both hit. Kennen dies. Wow. What a time for Arcane Smash to hit Kennen. It knocks the Kennen... Oh, we got a pop-up from the Rek'Sai. A flash unburrow onto that Ahri. She is going to get killed. And Nunu shows up. He's trying to rumble with him. Here comes the Absolute Zero. A lot of damage comes down onto this Rek'Sai. About a quarter of his health. Brand is coming in. Conflagration. Seer doesn't hit. He does not get the sun. Pyroclasm comes out. And there's a shutdown right there. And a really aggressive flash comes out from the Ezreal onto the Nunu, trying to finish him off. And he's going to get killed by Brand himself. Tristana roams up, finishes off Brand. And Nunu is looking like he's trying to bait Janna into a fight while Graves pops up. But Graves is more interested in the CS here. Wow, that was incredible. Ezreal with a very, very aggressive flash towards trying to pick this Nunu off. I mean, I understand Nunu was very low, but Ezreal, you're sitting on nothing more than a Manamune. You are not quite power spiking yet. You gotta get that up. And the red steel comes out from the Ezreal onto the red buff for Nunu. Did he have any... I don't think he had any vision for that. What a nice shot. Good shot, Ezreal. That's impressive. The blind red buff steal. And Blue goes over to him. We got a fight coming down with Maokai and Kennen. Maokai is just abusing Kennen right now, abusing the fact that every time that his passive, that sap magic is up, he is going to heal quite a bit of health. And he's able to make good trades against this Kennen. Kennen forced to pot up, starting with the Negatron Cloak, getting a little bit of extra MR, very helpful against Maokai, considering Maokai does a lot of AP damage. Dragon coming up in another 20 seconds. Nunu should be heading towards that. After all, Blue does not have the timer on that. Not an exact timer, at least. They are able to approximate it. Once you see that Dragon buff going down onto your opponents, you are able to approximate just how long that is. Tristana's setting up a little bit of a freeze. She has double buffs, so Graves tries to trade with her, but that explosive shot's going to win the trade for the Tristana there. Does quite a bit of damage. Tristana opting to go for this early static shiv, giving her this really early power spike for herself, allowing her to trade with Graves, who is traditionally a stronger early game AD carry than Tristana, but Tristana's already at 301 with a static shiv. This makes her very powerful. Explosive shot down into Graves, a couple shots, charging it up for 50% more damage. It's 25% damage increase every time he takes another shot on there. Nunu with a little bit of counter jungling of his own, and Blue team definitely knows that the Dragon is up. They are not allowing Nunu to just take this for free right now. Rek'Sai is in the vicinity. Conflagration into Seer. The Seer misses. The stun doesn't come down. The pings down onto Ahri. She gets locked up a little bit. Is not dead, but the red buff will take her down. And that was the last couple seconds of the red buff for the Ezreal there too. And when Brandon Nunu left from down here to try and help Ahri, that Dragon was immediately given over to the Blue team. Blue team taking a commanding 2,000 gold early lead against their opponents. That's very good for them, considering they have a much stronger late-game team than their opponents. Arguably, at least. Considering they've got the double AD composition going for them. There's that Void Rush coming out for Rek'Sai, heading up towards this top lane. Maokai and Kennen are trading. The Prey Seeker hits. The slow from the smite comes down. The knockup does hit, and the bite is going to finish off Kennen. Maokai Rek'Sai, now that is a very powerful combination for locking down your opponent and just beating their face in. Kennen unable to handle it. He is just falling way far behind. 1-3-0. Doesn't have his Abyssal Scepter finished yet. Meanwhile, this Maokai is starting to power spike. He has this Catalyst. He's moving into a Spectre's Cal so that he can fight his opponent a little bit better. And I'll be interested to see what he builds the Catalyst into. Traditionally, we've seen Rod of Ages, but in more recent times, it's very popular to get that Righteous Glory, allow your opponents to get a big move speed bonus, charge into the enemy team. Nunu gonna get a little harassed, but Kennen's nowhere near this top lane, so he's not really going to be able to help out. Well, Nunu's still throwing snowballs at the tree, but hey, look at this. This is Christmas-themed Maokai, Mr. Nunu. He doesn't care about your snowballs. He doesn't care about your snow. He's used to the snow. He comes from the land of Christmas. In fact, I'm surprised he's not covered in snow right now on his skin. And Nunu keeps walking up into this Maokai, taking tons of damage. Gonna consume to heal up a little bit. The Vengeful Maelstrom comes out. Absolute Zero onto the Maokai. Arcane Smash comes down. And this is just a brawl coming out between those two. This Vengeful Maelstrom absorbing a lot of damage. Returns quite a bit down onto the Nunu. Ezreal shows up. Maokai will fall, but the flash knockup from the Rek'Sai is going to finish off the Nunu and the Kennen. A lot of damage comes down onto this Ezreal. He will tick down from the Ignite, but Rek'Sai will not be able to finish off this Ahri. She does have another active for that Spirit Rush. Uh-oh. Rek'Sai's here. Throws the Prey Seeker out, doesn't get it, but gets the knock-up into the Queen's Fury. And that Ahri is dead. That was a very dangerous recall for her right here. You know when Rek'Sai is burrowed, she can see exactly where your footprints are. That's a 1300 range skill. That Tremor Sense coming out. So very poor decision making there. Up, here comes the Void Rush onto this tunnel. Janna's there to get the knock-up onto Brand, and this is a dead support. He unfortunately walked through a couple of wards, seen out by that Janna, and was knocked down, toppled by the gank coming out. The lead from blue team just keeps growing higher and higher, and that's very bad news for the red team. They need to try and hit level 11 on their champions. This is what they need to do. They really need to get to that level 11 mark, that level 2 ultimate for all of their champions. And then they need to try and get some team fights going down, and they need to get maybe a pick off with Ahri before anything goes on, but they need to hit off that AoE. They've got a lot of it. They got a lot of team fight potential. They just got to be very organized for it. And until that happens, I don't see the red team making very many big plays. Their only really catch-out potential is this Ahri. She is pretty much the only assassin that can pop somebody that's out of position and take them out. And Nunu doesn't offer the most gank pressure. All he has is a slow. It's a good slow, but it's just a slow. It's nowhere near the knock-up and follow-up damage from this Rek'Sai. So we got to see the red team maybe try and hit the level 11, the level 2 ultimate power spikes for all of their champions. Finish up an item or two. We got a Luden's Echo coming out first item on Ahri. Pyroclasm comes out from this brand. It's going to bounce around. 2 hits onto the Tristana. The teleport comes in from the cannon. He does get the stun, but it's not going to be enough. The teleport from the Maokai comes out. He's all over this Graves. Going to do a lot of damage. He's going to have to back off. There's too many people here. Never mind. He turns around. He's like, I'm big. I'm tanky. Absolute Zero coming out from Nunu. Not going to do much damage at all. Kennen has to get the hell out of there. Lightning Rush. Runs away. Barely alive. Is there a True Shot Barrage? No, it's on cooldown right now, unfortunately, for this blue team. Oh my god, the Flash Twisted Advance comes out, and down goes Brand. Well played there. Ahri never able to get into that fight. She's just unable to find an angle for herself. This Rek'Sai, extremely scary for her. True Shot Barrage just came out. It did not quite clip that Kennen. Very lucky for him. It was aimed at these bushes, but the recall was a little bit safer. Kennen's going to have to keep running away. Graves sitting here to clear some waves. Will he? Doesn't look like Ezreal's going to make an aggressive play. Graves sees him out with that blue trinket. He's like, I know you're there. I know you're there. I'm not going to walk up like a dummy. And every time a fight breaks out, blue team gets further and further ahead. Red team's trying to make use of their AoE-centric composition, trying to get that team fight presence known onto the field. But unfortunately for them, every time that they do, they just get outnumbered. Ahri showed up late to that fight. Ezreal was there way before her. Void Rush coming out right over here. Looks like they're setting up for this dragon. It is live once more. Kennen has to recall he does not have teleport. He's just going to pressure this tower. It looks like they're going to give up that dragon. Maokai going in strong. He does not care how many people are there. He is very tanky. He did opt to work towards that. Never mind what I was saying. Holy crap! Nunu exploded. That's surprising. He has the Cinderhulk. The Cinderhulk upgrade to his smite, and still goes down as if he had no health. This Rek'Sai is looking very powerful with the Maokai Rek'Sai combo of just pure lockdown onto one champion is so strong right now. Tristana able to finish off this tower with the help of that explosive shot that does so much tower damage. Caught by the charm mid-jump. Rek'Sai shows up a little bit late. He is going to get the knock-up onto this Ahri. A lot of damage coming down by the Ahri. The Seer misses. He's not going to get stunned by the brand, and it doesn't matter that Rek'Sai is low at health. She has the backup from the Ezreal coming up. Shield from that Hex Drinker comes out. Rek'Sai is very difficult for these two specifically to kill. Monsoon from the Jaina from behind! Ahri is sitting very low. Will she be able to get out? Rek'Sai finally taken out by the Absolute Zero. Flash from the brand, able to get him out of there. Jaina is in no man's land. True Shot Barrage will not hit. Ezreal and Nunu going at it, but Ezreal is way stronger than you are, Nunu. It doesn't matter how many snowballs you hit. Ezreal is a more powerful champion than you are right now. He does not connect that Mystic Shot. Arcane Shift forward. Essence Flux doesn't connect. Nunu lives. Graves coming up from the side. Throws collateral damage. It doesn't finish off the Ezreal. So close. That was so close to finishing off. A great try by the Graves. And so, for all that fighting that happened, very few deaths. Very few deaths. Void Rush coming out. Oh, that's always scary to hear when you're on the enemy team. You always got to wonder if that's going to come anywhere near you. I'm really surprised that Graves was staying exactly where he is, because that Void Rush could have come at a bad spot. So, we've got a Magi Soul Stealer coming out on this Janna. I'm just going to point out a couple items here. Magi's onto the Janna. That's going to help all of her skills. They all scale very well with AP, so especially that shield, that Eye of the Storm, and the Monsoon, always known for how strong the AP bonuses are in teamfight situations, in poke situations. And considering she has an Ezreal and a Tristana to throw that Eye of the Storm on, that's really good pair of AD champions for this Janna to be buffing with her shield for that extra attack damage and that extra effective health. So a little bit of a lull in the action. Maokai continually... This Maokai is so manly, I love it. Anytime that he sees an enemy champion, he runs at them and says, "What are you going to do about it? I am big, I'm strong, I'm a tree," and Nunu gets taken down by the Twisted Advance. Janna taking a little bit of pressure from Kennen, but that's not going to amount to anything. Kennen should be scared to fight this enemy team right now. You know, I'm really not sold on this Luden's Echo first item for Ahri. The extra AoE damage it does is nice, but you're going to do about the same amount of damage for a death cap for nearly the same price. You get a lot more survivability, a lot more dependability in your build if you start with that Zhonya's, but most importantly, more than anything else, she has no mana regeneration item whatsoever, no Morellonomicon, no Athene's Holy Grail, so once that blue buff is down, she is very mana hungry over time, at least. Not to mention the cooldown reduction it gives. Luden's Echo just doesn't seem strong enough to start as an item, Ahri. An interesting try at the very least, but it doesn't seem to really be paying off. Like I said before, Maokai sees an enemy champion and he just runs at them. He isn't afraid of anything. The Righteous Glory is finished, so that speed boost for himself and his team when he runs at enemy champions is going to be good. Wow, the damage coming down onto that Ahri. So much from Ezreal. The red buff ticks her down a little bit more. Mystic Shot barely going to clip the brand instead of the Ahri. And this red team is looking a little bit in danger. Blue team already grouping up, already sieging. Nunu gets locked up immediately. He's not going to pop his ultimate. He's going to try and run away. A lot of damage comes down. The slicing maelstrom from the Kennen comes out. And Janna is going to fall to everyone else while Kennen tries to lock down the sideline of the Maokai and the Rek'Sai. However, that's just a support. They are able to take down that inner tier 2 tower in the meantime. So giving up one Janna for a tier 2 tower, definitely worth it. Teleport from Kennen comes in. He's trying to stop this push. A lot of damage already coming down onto this tower and a big minion wave here. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop this push. Twisted Advance down onto Kennen. Maokai's low on health, but he doesn't care. He just locks him down under the tower, and that's another tier 2 down in favor of the blue team. Flash Twisted Advance onto Graves. A lot of damage coming in. The Vengeful Maelstrom pops and Graves gets exploded. Holy crap. This blue team turned the on button to maximum, and they are not stopping. They are going to work on this tier 3 tower. They might even get it down. The next minion wave and explosive shot from Tristana should finish this off. And there it goes. Boom. Tower was only able to kill one minion total before it died. And this is a massive lead for the blue team. A 9,000 gold lead for the blue team. And this red team, with their mid-game composition, losing this hard to a later game double AD team is very scary. It's hard to say if they're going to be able to come back or not. I mean, this is just a little bit painful for the red team. 8,000 gold in the hole. They're grouping up for this dragon. It looks like they're going to try for it. They do have all of their ultimates except the Slicing Maelstrom. they really need to wait for that Slicing Maelstrom from Kennen. Without that ultimate, they're going to feel very weak. Pyroclasm doesn't bounce on anyone, only hits one person. They do get the Dragon there. Rek'Sai coming up forward. Maokai gets forward with that Righteous Glory, and he's going to get his entire team up in there. Another knockup from the Rek'Sai. Graves is getting locked down by Maokai and Rek'Sai. Graves doesn't put out nearly enough damage to deal with this. Kennen goes down. Zonas from Ahri. She's going to die. Triple kill for the Ezreal. And despite blue team's best efforts, once again they fall to the enemy team, and it looks like they're going to give up. Wow. A 25, nearly 26 minute surrender coming out from that red team. Just once blue team got ahead, they pushed that snowball down that mountain and got it bigger and bigger. They put the pedal to the metal, and there was no brakes on the blue team train. Do trains have pedals? I don't think so. I don't think they do. If they do, then I'm dumb. And with that, we're gonna leave. That is my final thought. Thank you guys very much for watching this episode of LoLcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you on the next one. If you did, be sure to support me in my endeavors of becoming a caster in a little bit more of a professional sense and a little bit less of an amateur sense. So I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye-bye, everybody.